What's going on, guys? Overman back again, and the other day I was sliding through the Black Ops 3 subreddit and I saw this thread highlighting an article that was talking about Activision's second quarter results. And according to the article, Call of Duty in-game content sales were at a record high this year, driven by Call of Duty Black Ops 3's map packs and supply drops. They revealed that in-game content sales have doubled since last year for Call of Duty. And that right there is as good as a confirmation that Infinite Warfare will have supply drops. Because despite how much people bitched and criticized supply drops in Advanced Warfare and Black Ops 3, at the end of the day, the Call of Duty community has voted with their wallets, and the results are in. Supply drops are here to stay, because if people are buying it, Activision is gonna sell it. Now, I do understand that some of those in-game content sales are from the DLC, and because Black Ops 3 sold more copies than Advanced Warfare, there's more players, so of course there's gonna be higher in-game content sales. But once again, at the end of the day, people are buying supply drops, which pretty much guarantees that they'll be in the next Call of Duty. Maybe not right at launch, but eventually they will make their way in there, because that's way too much money for Activision to leave on the table. And Activision really doesn't care what you have to say about Call of Duty or supply drops. What they care about is how you spend your money. The thing you have to understand is that Activision isn't a group of artists looking to express their inner creativity and deliver mind-blowing gaming experiences that shake the foundation of the industry. No, they're a group of businessmen looking to make as much money as possible. So there's no way that they're not going to put supply drops in the next Call of Duty game, because people are buying them and Activision is going to make a lot of money selling them. But the question is, why? Why are people buying supply drops? Despite the massive amount of money it costs to buy enough supply drops to get a weapon because of the abysmal drop rates, people are still doing it. So who's to blame for this whole mess? Well, I have three groups of people in mind, so let's get started. First and foremost, I think we gotta blame Activision, because, and I know I'm gonna sound childish as fuck for saying this, but they started it, and I'm a firm believer in the idea of don't start nothing, won't be nothing. They're the ones selling the supply drops. They're the ones pushing this free-to-play model in a $60 game. You know what? I take that back, because a lot of free-to-play games aren't even as bad as the system here. In most free-to-play games, you can just straight up buy the weapons that you want, but here in good old Call of Duty, you have to roll the dice to get them, even if you're paying with real cash. And I'd be willing to guess that they're also the ones who have decided on the ridiculously low drop rates for weapons in supply drops, which makes them even more money because people know that they can't just buy 5 supply drops and get a weapon. Nah, you gotta buy a lot more than that to get a shot at getting a single weapon, let alone the one that you want. And you know what's the really shitty part about all of this? Activision is raking in a lot of money from supply drops and they cost so little to make. So how much of that money do you think will be reinvested into Call of Duty? In most cases, when full price games offer microtransactions, the devs will make up for it by reinvesting some of that money into the game as free content. I mean, that's what they're doing with Overwatch, and Destiny did get that free spring update, plus all those shitty little events that no one liked. So why aren't they doing the same with Call of Duty? Well, if I had to speculate as to why, I would say it's probably because COD is already a well-established name in the gaming industry. It's guaranteed to sell millions no matter what. But it's also dying. COD probably only has a few years left before Activision drops it. So I think what they're trying to do is milk it for everything it's worth until they get to that point. And I say that because it's no secret that Call of Duty is dying. Everyone knows it, and the whole Infinite Warfare trailer thing only made it worse. And it's not like they're doing anything to bring people back in. It's not like they're overhauling the game. I mean, they're still using the same old engine that can barely handle a 6v6 without dropping frames. And they're putting in these microtransactions that are really pissing people off, and it's probably going to have a negative effect on sales in the coming years as people get tired of it. And the people at Activision aren't stupid. They know all of this. They know that sales are down, and they're not doing anything to bring them back up, so that leads me to believe that they know that the game will die in a few years, and they don't want to invest money into a game that's going to die. And that's another reason why I have to blame Activision, because that's so fucking cold, man. Like, you could save the franchise by investing some money into a new engine and putting some of that money towards more maps and guns and real innovation. But no, they won't do that. They'd rather just milk it for everything it's worth. At the end of the day, for Activision, it's all business. They don't care about the quality of their products at all. They take no pride in their work whatsoever, aside from the money that that work generates. And while yes, they are a business, and that's what businesses do, I mean, god damn, you don't have to be so cutthroat about it. Activision is in a position where they can still make a fuck ton of money, but also publish good games as well. The two are not mutually exclusive, and I think a lot of people miss that. But of course, Activision isn't the only one to blame here. Nah. At this point, I think that the COD community deserves a lot of the blame as well. Not everyone in the COD community, I do want to make that clear. Some people in the community tried to get people to stop buying supply drops, or at the very least, didn't buy supply drops themselves. But obviously, a good amount of COD players are still buying supply drops, and I understand that for some people, gambling is just something that they can't handle, especially when you're not even an adult yet. However, so many people have put out information showing how bad the chances are for getting weapons from supply drops. There's so many videos out there of YouTubers dropping $100 to $200 on supply drops and getting a fucking melee weapon. And even if you don't watch YouTube videos, it's not that hard to tell your chances aren't very good after you open a few supply drops yourself. If you saved up enough crypto keys to buy 20 supply drops and you opened them and didn't get a single weapon, then right then and there you should know that the chances of you actually getting a weapon are very low, and you shouldn't waste your money on them. But despite this, some people still buy supply drops. I saw a thread a little while ago on the Black Ops 3 subreddit where a guy spent 650 crypto keys and didn't get a single weapon. So then he went and dropped another $70 on supply drops and ended up getting a melee weapon. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck were you thinking? You spent 650 crypto keys and got nothing, so you thought that it would be a good idea to spend an extra $70 on supply drops? No, that's not what you should do. Do not throw good money after bad crypto keys. And you know, I'm sure he's not the only one that's done something like that. I'm sure a lot of people do that. And the only thing I have to say to people like that is, good luck opening supply drops in Infinite Warfare. But finally, we gotta talk about a very special group of people. And I think you know who they are. But first, I wanna tell you guys about this cool new website that I just found. Nah, I'm just playing. But seriously, we gotta throw some blame at the Call of Duty YouTubers because they've given Activision so much free advertising. With all the supply drop opening videos and all of the videos they do every time Treyarch puts out new DLC weapons, they're giving Activision a good amount of free advertising. And I know some might say that, yeah, they do these videos on the DLC weapons, but most COD players have come out and said that they don't like supply drops. And that's true. Just look at this tweet from T Martin. I love that they brought back the Peacekeeper and DSR-50. I fucking hate that they were brought back in supply drops. So there you have it, folks. T Martin fucking hates supply drops. But here's a fun little fact. T Martin made 4 videos on the new DLC weapons, and nowhere in any of those videos does he say anything about hating supply drops. Huh. Weird. But then again, at this point, what do you expect from T Martin?
How could you live with yourself?
Or most of the Call of Duty YouTubers for that matter.
How could you live with yourself?
Sure, they might make a tweet or the odd video saying that they don't like supply drops, but then they're gonna make countless other videos promoting the new DLC weapons. It's crazy. You would think that the people who claim to love Call of Duty so much and make a living off of posting Call of Duty content would do something about supply drops, since it's one of the worst things about the game right now. But nah, they don't. They just play ball. And then they have the nerve to get mad at the people who call them sellouts and money whores.
How could you live with yourself?
But that's it for this one, guys. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to smash that like button. If you're not feeling sure, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think about supply drops, and do you think that they're gonna be in Infinite Warfare? And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, be sure to hit that subscribe button and follow me on Twitter. Link will be in the description box below. That's it from me, guys. Over, man. Out.
How could you live with yourself? How would 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 you live with yourself?